How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Living Dead formats where physical media never dies. Today we've got a punk collection update, and I am dubbing this one the Shitty Digipack edition because every album I have on here is in a cardboard, paper-thin digipack that is guaranteed to just rot on my shelf without touching it, so yay for that. But with all that aside, let's get started on the first couple of albums by this one artist. You've probably seen them in my last punk update. It's for a good reason. They're a really great band. Let's check out Lionheart with their album from 2017. This is Welcome to the West Coast Part 2. Part 1 is an EP, so that's why they called this Part 2. This is their 5th album. Those are the tracks on the back there. And if you weren't privy to my last update with these guys, Lionheart are a hardcore, beatdown, and sometimes metalcore band, depending on what release, that started in 2004, and they hail out of Oakland, California. And besides the albums I'm going to show off in this collection update, they also have 5 albums and 2 EPs to check out. So if you enjoy them, they got a bit of a discography. This opens up to show more of the lyrics and stuff that's in here. Let's check out the disc. That could totally fly out at any moment. It's stuffed right in there. Alright, so not much on the disc itself. Thanks, ring light. You're not helping. But yeah, that's the disc. I always love how sometimes tight or loose these are, because if they're tight, you're never going to get them out, and if they're loose, if you're waving your thing around or you're in a rush, it's going to just go woo, bye-bye, goodbye CD, and probably going to get scratched. So yeah, not a fan of digipacks, as you probably well know. It's something that the record labels like to get for some reason, and they like to charge you more for these. I would just like a jewel case, please. If a jewel case breaks, I could buy a new jewel case. If this gets water damaged or ripped or gets rubbed a million times, I'm gonna have to get a whole new album. So not really digging that. The band though, Lionheart, excellent. Welcome to the West Coast 2. Just as good as the other albums I showed off in the other video. Any of the bands that you check out on here, please check out Lionheart. This one is, again, their 5th album, and it's from 2017. And I also got Valley of Death from 2019. It's in a slightly better digipack. This one at least clicks in to a tray. There we go. There's the disc. And let's check out behind here. Probably just says Lionheart. Yep. That creepy red ambiance. Very cool aesthetic. This one actually comes with a booklet, unlike the other one, and I think it opens up into something probably not too interesting, but I'm going to open it up anyways. Yeah, no, not really all that interesting. Just some live performance, I think, with the singer there, and then Lionheart on the side, and then lyrics on the back and such. Oh, it's another pic of the band in red lights. 3C Films fans will know what I'm talking about. I can't really tell you which I like better, Welcome to the West Coast 2 or Valley of Death. They're both really good. This one's from 2019 as their 6th album. I believe they have an album or maybe 2 after this, but they definitely have a few before these ones. Definitely, please and thank you, check out Lionheart. Excellent band from Oakland, California. Next up is a band that is probably one of my favorite street punk projects. Maybe only Acedes and Casualties might be a little bit more interesting to me than these guys, but these guys, if I think of street punk, this is a pretty good one. I think this is their most recent release with Internal Salvation from 2007. I don't think they've done any albums after this. I don't know what happened, if they've broken up or whatnot. It's on Hellcat Records. Maybe a problem with Hellcat Records. Not sure. Isn't Hellcat Records the Rancid label? Anyway, that's the back. This is the disc. Fairly neat artwork. Crown of Thorns, some blood. I dig it. What's behind here? Oh, more Crown of Thorns. Cool. That's not political at all. But no, the vocals on this are really, really good. The instrumentation is just very fast, aggressive punk. There's the booklet on the inside. And it pops open into a little bit of a poster. Not much though. Pops open into this. Pretty neat. And most of their albums, maybe State of Discontent might be slightly different, but most of their albums are pretty straightforward, fast, aggressive street punk with angry, aggressive vocals that are kind of mid to maybe slightly high pitched. But man, I just listened to this today and it's great. I'll have to go back and listen to State of Discontent because I feel like that's probably different. But the albums before that are really good too. Lower Class Crucifixion, So This Is Freedom, and an album that I'm probably going to have in a future punk update is also pretty good. So yeah, do yourself a favor. If you're into aggressive punk, The Unseen is definitely a good place to start or check out if you haven't been visiting that project in a while. They started in 1993 and they're from Massachusetts, USA. Besides the one that I'm showing right now, they also have 5 other albums and 3 EPs. I'm gonna have to check out those EPs because I don't recall ever seeing them. So yeah, great band. Can't recommend them enough if you're into punk. Which can't really be said about the next project because they're all over the board, and this album that I'm going to show is one that I didn't think I was going to pick up for a while. There's an album called Bodies. There's an album called Funeral, I think. I don't know. But one's like a black album, and one is something that has a whole bunch of, I guess, bodies on it, but it looks like static. Sort of like this, but not quite. Also, Warsaw is way better than Joy Division. I wish I could get a copy of that self-titled Warsaw bootleg with all their stuff before they did the stuff for this album. Man, so good. Anyways, let's get on to AFI's self-titled album, aka the Blood album, for should be obvious reasons here. There's the hype sticker with the singles that are on this. Here's the back, and it is one of those fold over garbage digipacks that just has a disc that slides in and out. Not impressed. That's what the disc looks like. No, I don't care about the fingerprints. I'm pretty sure it's outside the recording area anyways. Yes, it is. I guess I'll show you the booklet. Yeah, super worth it. Yeah, there we go. That's what the booklet looks like. This one doesn't pop out into a poster or anything. The pictures aren't significant. There's the middle though. That's probably the most interesting out of the booklet. More red lights! Funny that I did that twice in this video, but yeah, nothing in here worth showing off. Just lyrics and more dark pictures that, there's nothing on it. It's just band members. So yes, this album is certainly not something that I would recommend if you're coming here for straight up punk. This is more like post-punk, pop-punk, emo-y stuff, kind of moody, gothic-y type of melodic emo punk. It's hard to describe. Their music is very odd. Sometimes they have some wicked riffs, and all of a sudden it just trails off into what almost feels like a ballad. So it's hard to explain what these albums are unless you hear them. It's mostly just fairly soft, kind of sometimes upbeat, sometimes kind of dreary and moody stuff. I'm a sad, angsty teenager kind of thing. I just listen to The Cure and maybe a Bauhaus album, and then I'm going to throw this on with some Joy Division. This shirt's really helping me this video for some reason, but yeah, can't recommend this. I always recommend their third album, Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes. The best stuff ever. Answer That and Stay Fashionable is good. Their first album. Good On Ya is good, like really good stuff. The second album, and then they start going a little more towards this kind of thing. Black Sails in the Sunset is still pretty good in my opinion. The All Hallows EP fucking rules. Everyone knows that shit. And The Art of Drowning, also pretty darn good. It's not punk, but it's good. This one, not so much. I'm just getting it to be a completionist of AFI. Again, I still need Bodies, and I still need Funeral, or whatever the other Black Album is. If you don't know, AFI started in 1991. They come out of California, USA. And besides the album that I just shown, they have 10 other albums and 7 EPs. 7? I guess I'll have to check that out. But yeah, they got a few. I think they have Daemonomania. They got one with bowling balls on it. They got obviously All Hallows and a couple other ones. So yeah, they might have 7 EPs. Next is, again, just to be a completionist, but this album actually fucking rules, minus 2 songs, or maybe 3 songs. I'm going to say 3 songs. Saviors by Green Day was a surprise, especially after that abysmal garbage, what the fuck is this album, The Father of All Motherfuckers. Besides the title of the album, it's not that controversial, it's not that shocking, it's not that edgy. It's like 2-minute long songs at most, and just... yeah, it was very weird. It was a very ADHD album and very samey. This album is not. This album is fantastic, Green Day. If you dropped off after Revolution Radio or whatever it was, hop back on for Saviors. This is like 85 to 90% bangers if you're into Green Day. And yeah, here's the inside with them laying on lawn chairs in a random level in Fallout. Come on, tell me that doesn't look like a front yard from a Fallout game. Let's check out the disc. More pink. I dig that. So there we go. There's the disc. Again, no, I don't give a shit about the fingerprints. And it's still outside the playing area. Let's check out the booklet now. Oh, they're being fancy with the 3D at the back. I'll show you the back first. Yeah, it's like blue and red, and I bet you if you have 3D glasses, it'll pop out at you. Ooh, retro. Anyways, I don't know who that kid's supposed to be. He's just like, I don't know who blew up that shit in the background. Wasn't me. Smirkety smirk. Anyways, I don't think there's too many pictures in here to show off. If I find something interesting, I'll show you. No. There's a picture on the back. I guess I'll show you that. Looks like a Polaroid of the band. There you go. Trying to be Billy Idol. Speaking of Billy Idol, I really need to get some Generation X albums. Those were pretty interesting, sort of. Not nowadays. It'd be boring nowadays. But for those who like proto-punk, you'll definitely dig Generation X. So, yes. Again, if you're like digging the whole American Idiot, Revolution Radio, and whatever the other one was, then you will like this. The American Dream is Killing Me is a very usual, typical Green Day song. Look, Motto Brains, pretty good. Bobby Sucks, The One-Eyed Bastard is really good. One of them sounds like slow, groovy, punky Black Sabbath riff. I'm not sure which one that it is, if it's Dilemma or One-Eyed Bastard or 1981. I just got finished listening to this tonight as well, because I try to listen to my stack before I come on here. But Living in the 20s, that is an amazing Green Day song on here, especially after the boring-ass Susie Chapstick and Strange Days Are Here to Stay. You can skip Father to a Son. Saviors is good. Fancy Sauce is slow, but it's funny. Listen to the lyrics on Fancy Sauce. But no, Living in the 20s is definitely one of the biggest bangers on here, and kind of reminds me of the Hives' Bogus Operandi, or one of their songs, sped up. So yeah, if you like that crazy, catchy Hives energy, they got this going on with Living in the 20s track. So yeah, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks on here, gold, and then it's kind of like on and off after that. Corvette Summer, I think, was okay. And then Living in the 20s, and then Saviors. Yeah, so there's like 3 or 4 tracks on here that I could take it or leave it, but do yourself a favor and listen to the first 6 at least, and Living in the 20s. Banger, good comeback album by Green Day. Was not expecting it, trust me. I didn't expect anything great after Father of All Motherfuckers. Fuck that album. Of course, Green Day started in 1987 out of California, USA. 13 other albums and 6-ish EPs, depending if you count live shit and splits or whatever. And they're just typically either punk rock or pop punk. If you like it, cool. If not, I don't blame you. All right, and the last one is another brand new album by a kind of a pop punk, skate punk band. Their first 3 albums, again, maybe first 4 albums, bangers, and then they kind of just, I don't know, they've been releasing some weird shit. This one, though, this is pretty good. It's got, like, the riffs in it kind of harken back to different eras of their discography. There's definitely some stuff from Americana in there. There's definitely stuff from the original Prankster album and the one with the breaking statue. I'm just terrible with names. But yeah, so this harkens back to a couple of the decent albums, riffs in there. It sounds like mid-discography Offspring. It doesn't sound like the last 2 albums, really. So yeah, if you're dropping off of Offspring, maybe hop back on here and give it a listen to it. It's not the best album. I give it maybe a 5.5 or a 6.5 out of 10, depending on what track I'm listening to. Come to Brazil is kind of ridiculous, and I can't remember the track that has that weird robot Microsoft Samantha voice. All I want to do is fall in love with you, or whatever she says. It happens over and over in the song. I can't stand that song, but the rest of them, not bad mid-level Offspring, so maybe go give Supercharged a chance. It's from 2024, last year, if you missed that it came out. But they started in 1984, and they're also from California, USA. Here is the booklet. Kind of harkens back to the Smashed cover, which I bet you they're trying to play off nostalgia for that. Because at a certain point, what does a band have besides nostalgia? Because it ain't new riffs. They've already written everything. There's a lot of cool artwork in here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but yeah. Skulls and dancing around and more skeletons. That's pretty fucking cool, actually. I wish it would not glare. Thanks, ring light. So yeah, they really were about the skulls in this album. Besides this, they also have 10 other albums. They got a lot. And they also have 3 EPs. And again, they're kind of like usually a pop punk band with some skate punk elements and punk rock elements. They used to be more like angrier and aggressive and faster. And you know, for punk, but then they eventually just kind of did what Green Day and Blink-182 did and got kind of more mainstream and more corporate production-y sounding. This album isn't too bad if you like mid-discography Offspring. That's all I have to say about this. That's the last one on this stack of Digipack disappointment. But please do yourself a favor and check out Lionheart. And maybe revisit The Unseen. The rest of it, up to you. I think Saviors is a nice return to form for Green Day, and Supercharged is a not bad Offspring album, really. I don't give a fuck about the Blood album by AFI. So, yeah. Anywho, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around and checking out some punk with me. We'll see you in the next video. You've been watching The Living Dead Formats, where physical media never dies. And remember, they might take down streaming, but they'll never take our discs. Cheers, and we'll see you in the next video.